everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's reaction video is going to be a first for me. This is Joyner Lucas and his video for his track I'm Not Racist. Now I have heard a lot about this and I've been meaning to react to a Joyner Lucas track for a while, and hopefully this will lead on to some more Joyner Lucas for you to watch. I don't know too much about this guy. From what I know, he's, I believe, Puerto Rican, is he? I'm not too sure. The only thing I know about this is this video is that it's actually him obviously rapping it, and these two are actors. They're actually two of his friends. So that's the only thing I do know of this music video. Now, judging by the title, I think this is going to be a pretty controversial one. It's that classic statement that a lot of people say, I'm not racist, and it's normally followed by a but. So I'm thinking that it might be something like that, or it could be somebody actually that is not racist, or from a point of view that is not racist, and they're explaining certain things. I don't know. I have no idea. I know I've read some comments on it and it is very controversial, and it's addressing stereotypes of racism and race and things like that. I'm very much looking forward to getting to this one, and I would say I'm excited about it, but I don't know what it's going to be like. So it could end up getting me mad, it could end up being emotional, it could end up surprising me. I don't know, I really don't know. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm going to be completely honest. Like I say, I'm not too sure based on the title what I'm in for here. We'll see anyway. This is 6 minutes 55 long, but obviously the video is going to be longer than that because I'm going to be pausing it to perhaps talk about some things and give my opinion on certain things that are being said or being done or whatever. So, and straight away I'm kind of feeling a little bit triggered because this guy's wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Yeah, so straight away that's not a great start. Anyway, let's go, let's see what happens. Here we go.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas, that's the way I feel. Screaming Black Lives Matter, all the black guys rather be deadbeats than pay your bills. Yelling nigga this and nigga that, call everybody nigga and get a nigga mad.
Okay, straight away I feel triggered because although this guy is an actor and he's one of Joyner's friends, and I know that Joyner is the one rapping this, but the fact that you get the impression that these are words coming from a white person. He's used the N-word. And okay. Right, let's just carry on and see where this goes. I have to try and bear in mind that this is Joyner Lucas's words, this is his voice, and these guys are actors, but I'm still a little bit triggered. Okay. Right, I'm going to run that back. We'll start again. I kind of wasn't expecting that. Right, here we go.
With all due respect, I don't have pity for you black niggas, that's the way I feel.
Cringe.
Screaming Black Lives Matter, all the black guys rather be deadbeats than pay your bills. Yelling nigga this and nigga that, call everybody nigga and get a nigga mad. As soon as I say nigga, then everyone react and wanna swing at me and call me racist cause I ain't black.
Yeah, this is gonna be a hard one. Okay. First of all, the fact that, like I say, it's giving the impression that it would be coming from a white guy, as this guy is miming it. That whole thing that a lot of white people say, where they still don't quite get it, why they shouldn't use the word, that word. They shouldn't use it. But it's fine for black people to use it. Now, I myself, if I'm completely honest, I myself used to feel kind of that way. I didn't get it. I didn't, in all my white ignorance, I did not get it. And I myself have actually found myself saying, well, yeah, but they say it all the time, so why can't everybody say it? It's not that you can't say it, it's just that you shouldn't, because that word it has racist undertones, it has racist connotations. The way it was used is used by racist white people during slavery and segregation, and I know a lot of white people still can't quite grasp this. Well, yeah, but it's in the music and they use it all the time, they use it to greet each other, they use it as a term of endearment. That's up to them, that's up to black people to use that in whatever way they feel they want to use it. But white people should not use that word, because it means something different coming from a white person compared to what it does coming from a black person to another black person. It's a completely different meaning, and as far as I'm concerned, I would never use it. I would never use it as a term of endearment or as a term of a derogatory way of putting somebody down or insulting somebody. Definitely not that, because it is racist. It has racist connotations. It has racial undertones to it. Yeah, damn right. If a white person uses it, then they have every right to deal with the backlash and the consequences from a black person or a person of colour, as far as I'm concerned, because it's not to say that you aren't allowed to use it. Go ahead, use it. If you really, really want to use it, if it's a word that you really, really want to say, fine, but be prepared to suffer the consequences, either verbally or physically. I'm sorry, and I don't condone violence, but it doesn't mean the same thing. Coming from a white person, as far as I'm concerned, it is racist. It is a horrible term for a white person to use to a black person. It's just a no-no. It's just a no-no. As I said, I know it's Joyner Lucas rapping this, but it's just triggering because seeing a white person miming that, I'm wearing that hat as well. It just makes me cringe, just makes me feel a bit on edge. Anyway, okay, let's carry on.
We'll pound that then. Talking about slavery like you was around back then. Like you was picking cotton off the fucking ground back then. Like you was on the plantation getting down back then. Alright, look. I see a black man aiming his gun, but I'd rather see a black man claiming his son. And I don't mean just for one day and you done. I mean, you still trapped in a rut. And I work my ass off and pay my taxes for what? So you can keep living off free government assistance, food stamps for your children, but you still trying to sell them for some weed and some liquor or a fucking babysitter while you party on the road cause you ain't got no fucking goals? You already late.
Okay, let's just pause it there and talk about that. The fact that there's this whole stereotype about how black people are the ones that don't stick around for their kids. They're claiming welfare and financial support from the government, and they don't work. That is the biggest load of BS ever. It is not just strictly black people that do that. White people do that too. So let's be honest here. You cannot put all of that on the black community and say that it is strictly them that do that. I can feel myself getting mad and I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to jump to conclusions because I don't know where this is going. But it's very, very difficult when, you see this white guy miming this, because I know this is how a lot of white people feel. And it is wrong because it's based on stereotypes that are thrown out there. And yeah, I'm not denying that there are black people that don't look after their kids. They do claim welfare. I'm not saying that they don't, and that is completely false, but a lot of white people do that as well. There's a lot of deadbeat white dads out there, parents out there, who abandon their kids, who don't stick around to look after their kids. So that is a stereotype that is just needs to stop being thrown around out there as if it's completely just them and nobody else. That is BS. I'm sorry.
You already late. You motherfuckers need to get your damn priorities straight. Wait. It's like you're proud to be fake, but you lazy as fuck. And you rather sell drugs and get a job and be straight. And then you turn around and complain about the poverty rate. Fuck out of my face. You can't escape problems. You can pray for some change, but can't break a dollar. Got nobody else to blame, so you blame Donald. They fucked the world with a Make America Great condom. My boy's been back. I'm not racist. My sister's boyfriend's black.
God.
I'm not racist. My sister-in-law's baby cousin Tracy got a brother and his girlfriend's black.
That is classic white mentality. I'm not racist. Some of my best friends are black. And then a lot of these people you say, well, okay, give me their names then. And they go, and they might be able to name one. And you think, well, hold on a minute. You said some, as in plural. Name some more. And then they can't. Whew. Okay. Oh, it's classic. That's classic. I'm not racist, but... How about just, I'm not racist? Because I'm just not. How about that? Okay.
My head's in the cloud. Heard there's not enough jobs for all the men in your house. Maybe we should build a wall to keep the Mexicans out. Or maybe we should send them all to the ghetto for now. I'm not racist. And I never lied, but I think there's a disconnect between your culture and mine. I worship the Einsteins, studied the Steve Jobs, but you ride Tupac's dick like he was a fucking god. Oh my God. And all you care about is rapping and stunting and being ratchet. And that's the nigga within you. Music rotting your brain and slowly start to convince you. Then you let your kids listen and then the cycle continues. Blame it all on the menu. Blame it on those drinks. Blame it on everybody except for your own race. Blame it on white privileges. Blame it on white kids and just blame it on white citizens. Aim at the vice president. Bunch of class clowns. Niggas kneeling on the field. That's a flag down.
Oh, okay. He's referring to Colin Kaepernick, I presume, and some other black football players who knelt in protest of police brutality and racism. Oh God. This is kind of tough for me, guys, and I'm saying that as a white person. This is tough. Because I know that there are a lot of white people that actually do feel this way. This is coming from, you know, the mouth of a black guy. This is coming from, a black guy wrote this song from this point of view. But this is not just a made up song or made up views. There are a lot of white people that feel like this, that say these things, and it's just... This is crazy. Okay, I'm just going to go back a little bit.
No white citizens aim at the vice president. Bunch of class clowns. Niggas kneeling on the field, that's a flag down. How dare you try to make demands for this money? You gonna show us some respect. You gonna stand for this country, nigga.
Oh, no. I don't think I can watch this, guys. This is just too hard. I mean, I'm going to watch it, obviously, to react to it, but this is just tough. It's one thing using that word, but he just said it with a hard R, and I just can't. I just can't. I'm actually feeling quite emotional right now, because this is really triggering as somebody, from my point of view, as somebody who is trying to educate themselves and listen and understand to the best of my ability, what people of colour go through and how they may feel because of people like this, with views like this, and everything that goes on every single day somewhere in the world, whether it be America or here or just anywhere else, with regards to racism in one way or another, in some shape or form. It's really, really tough for me to hear this, because I've been around people that say these sort of things. As I said, I know that a lot of white people feel this way. They jump on these stereotypes, and they will form opinions, really dangerous, strong opinions of people based on the stereotypes that they are pounded with through the media and through news and events that happen. And I know that they happen. You know, I'm not saying that they're false and, you know, they've got it wrong, and but it's stereotypes that are so dangerous, because it makes people think and feel like this. And yet these people do not take the time, they don't want to take the time, a lot of them, to actually get to know people from these communities, the people that are different to them, people that have different cultures and different backgrounds, and they come from different walks of life, and they have been through different situations. And some of those situations are really tough, really, really tough, like we'd have no idea. And that is made worse because of the colour of their skin. And yet people like this, and like me, frankly, have privilege because we are not the same skin colour as these people that are constantly abused and frankly murdered a lot of the time because of the colour of their skin, whether it be by people on the streets, whether it be by police. And I just can't get my head around it, that you wouldn't at least make some kind of attempt to try and understand people that are different to you. I can't get my head around that, and it's taken me, I'm 41 years old, and granted, I will be the first to admit that it's probably taken me too long to kind of re-educate myself. But believe me, I am trying, and I'm trying to understand and walk in someone else's shoes and get my head around the fact that stereotypes that we are fed constantly are not always accurate. They are just that, stereotypes. And this is tough to listen to, because, as I said, these thoughts and feelings are literally are shared by many white people, and these white people are just so ignorant and blinkered that they don't even want to learn from somebody else. They don't even want to learn from another culture, from another religion, from people of a different skin colour, just because of white superiority. Okay, let's carry on. This is tough, guys. This is really tough.
I'm not racist. I'm just prepared for this type of war. I heard Eminem's rap at the awards. Who's he fighting for? Y'all can take that motherfucker too. He ain't white no more. It's like you want to be so famous. You'll do anything for attention and a little payment. I can't take you nowhere without people pointing fingers. Pants hanging off your ass, you ain't got no home training. Put your fucking pants up, nigga. Put that suit back on. Take that do-rag off. Take that gold out your mouth. Quit the pitiful stuff. And then maybe police and stop killing you fucks. You what the fuck? I'm not racist.
So because somebody dresses a certain way, they deserve to be stopped by the police and to possibly be murdered by the police. That's what he's saying, right? They deserve the stereotypes just because of the way they dress, just because of how they choose to do their hair, just because of how low they choose to wear their pants, just because you know, they look different. Really. Really. Maybe the police would stop killing you if you dressed more appropriately. If you acted more white, that means basically. If you acted a little bit more white and a bit more civilized and looked more like a white person and tried to blend in, right? These are the same kind of people that would say that if a woman goes out dressed in a certain way, then she deserves to be raped. Wow. Okay, let's carry on.
It's like we're living in the same building but split into 2 floors. I'm not racist, but there's 2 sides to every story. I wish that I knew yours.
It's the best thing he said.
I wish that I knew yours. I'm not racist, I swear.
You don't know somebody's story unless you actually get to know them. And that's the problem. Some people don't want to.
With all disrespect, I don't really like you white motherfuckers. That's just where I'm at. Screaming all lives matter is a protest to my protest. What kind of shit is that? And that's one war you'll never win. The power in the word nigga is a different sin. We shouldn't say it, but we do, and that's just what it is. But that don't mean that you can say it just because you got nigga friends.
Exactly.
Nigga. That word was originated for you to keep us under. And when we use it, we know that's just how we greet each other. And when you use it, we know there's a double meaning under. And even if I wasn't picking cotton physically, that don't mean I'm not infected by the history. My grandmama was a slave, that shit gets to me, and you ain't got no motherfucking sympathy, you pussy nigga.
I mean, everything you just said right there sums it up. Maybe nobody should use the N-word, but it's a definite no-no for a white person to use it, as far as I'm concerned, because, as he said, there's often a double meaning. It was a word that was used, as he said, to keep us under, and it just should be a no-no for a white person to use it. Even if I had special permission to use it by a black friend of mine, I still wouldn't want to use it. I'd feel kind of sickened, I suppose, actually using it. Sickened, that's probably the best word to say how I'd feel. I still wouldn't want to use it. It'd still make me cringe, because I don't feel that a white person should use it. I'm sorry. It makes me cringe. As a white person, it makes me cringe just hearing it. And from a black person, it's different. I still don't like the word. And as he said, okay, maybe we shouldn't use it, but it hits differently. It's a different meaning. It's used as a term of endearment. But when a white person says it, there's a double meaning. That's just my opinion, but no, you would never get me using the word, I'm sorry. Not even with special permission. You wouldn't get me using the word.
I'm sorry, you can never fill my life. Trying to have faith, but I never feel alright. It's hard to elevate when this country's ran by whites, judging me by my skin color and my blackness. Trying to find a job, but ain't nobody call me back yet. Now I gotta sell drugs and put food in my cabinet. You crackers ain't slick, this is all a part of your tactics. Don't talk about no motherfucking taxes when I ain't making no dough. You think you know everything, but you don't. You wanna copy our slang and everything that we know. Try to steal black culture and make it your own. Whoa. Fuck, I'm exhausted. I can't even drive without the cops trying to start shit.
I mean, how many white people, particularly women out there, who want the whole boxed braids and big lips and big butts and even tanning, even tanning. White people take that quite happily. They'll go and sit out in the sun. They'll go to a tanning booth. They'll lay on a tanning bed. They'll buy tan in a bottle. and they'll happily go off and tan, and they think that it gives them a lovely healthy glow. But when it comes to a naturally melanated person, they just can't deal with it. They're fine taking, as he said, taking the culture and certain elements of the culture. There's a lot of white people that are fine, watching the movies that star black people or that are made by black people, and they love the music. They'll happily listen to rap. They'll rock and roll, R&B, soul, jazz. They'll happily take all of that and the features, but they don't want to know the people. And I just, they think those things are incredible, but they think the people that originated them are trash. And I can't get my head around that. I just can't. I can't get to grips with that. I don't understand that.
I'm tired of this systematic racism bullshit. All you do is false shit. This the shit that I'm false with. And you don't know shit about my people. That's what bothers you. You don't know about no fried chicken or no barbecue. You don't know about the two-step or no loose change. You don't know about no 2 chains or no Kool-Aid. You don't know. And even though Barack was half as black, you hated President Obama. I know that's a fact. You couldn't wait to get him out and put a cracker back. And then you gave us Donald Trump, and I was paid back for that. I'm not racist. I never lied, but I know there's a disconnect between your culture and mine.
Oh my God, how true is that? How true is that? The idea that Donald Trump, the least racist person in the room, as he once said, the idea that he would be president when his father had associations with the KKK, he would sit in that White House with his hands on the nuclear codes, and he would hold that much power, and yet say things that he did, that he still continues to say. To me, that screams revenge. That screams revenge for having Barack Obama in office for 8 years. And it was because of Donald Trump. No. I'll correct myself on that one. Racism, it's been around for a long time, even before Donald Trump became president. But the racism since then seems to be on a whole new level. It's almost like, particularly over in America, and I'm saying this as a white woman living in the UK, it seems to be on a whole different level. And I'm not saying that as a good thing at all. It's almost like it's given the racists permission to crawl out from under their rocks and just say what they want. They feel, even though Donald Trump is not president anymore, it's almost like he's given them permission, he's given them courage to actually say what they really think, because of the things that he said and done, or tried to do. And the fact that somebody like that was in the most powerful office, arguably, in the world, that's frightening. That is frightening, that somebody like that could be allowed to actually run as president, let alone get into the White House as president. So what he said there, I completely agree with. It to me, it's pretty damn obvious that it was, yeah, like he said, it was like they couldn't wait to put a white person back in the White House as revenge, because a black guy was president for 8 years. It says it all to me. It says it all. And I know a lot of people will say, well, yeah, but America's not that racist, because if they were, then a black president wouldn't have become president for 8 years, but, you know, been elected and then even been re-elected. That's the power of voting. That is the power of voting. But the fact that so many people voted for Donald Trump when he ran, based on the things that he said that he was going to do, many of them were racist and white supremacist, and so many people voted him in. He became president for 4 years. And also, let's be honest, the controversial thing as well of the fact that he probably had help from Russia, which is kind of likely. A lot of evidence points to yes on that one, although maybe nobody knows for sure. But without that, would he have got in? I don't know. I don't know, because it's quite frightening how many supporters he actually did have and still has.
Yeah, I praise Tupac like he was a fucking god. He was fighting for his life way before he fucking died, nigga. Die, nigga. And all you care about is money and power and being ugly, and that's the cracking within you. Hatred all in your brain and slowly start to convince you. Then you teach it to your children until the cycle continue. Blame it on Puerto Rico, blame it on OJ, blame it on everybody except for your own race. Blame it on black niggas and blame it on black citizens. Aim at the black businesses. I ain't saying I'm innocent, but I might be any day now. Treating everybody how you want in any way how. I swear North Korea about to bomb us any day now. And now I'm ducking every time I hear a fucking plane now. Shit. You know I make a lot of sense, but you just can't admit it. When Eminem went against Trump, that was the illest. Cause even though he's white, he let us know he's standing with us. I'm not racist, but I cry a lot. You don't know what it's like to be in a frying pot. You don't know what it's like to mind your business and get stopped by the cops. And I know if you about to die or not. You worry about your life, so you take mine.
Yeah, that is so true. As a white person with white privilege, based on the colour of my skin, the fact that it is the colour that it is, that really hurts. The fact that somebody, it hurts for me, you know, and other people that think a bit more, you know, more like me, or people that are not racist, or people that are anti-racist, white allies, and people that don't understand these kinds of points of view from other white people who are racist. So I can't imagine what it's like to be a black person. I can't imagine what it's like to be within this community, knowing that if you got stopped by the police, you have that sickening feeling in the pit of your stomach that you could either be framed for something you didn't do, accused of something you didn't do, or you could die at the hands of the police, the very people who are supposed to protect you and help you. For me, I can't imagine. As a white person, that makes me feel sick. I cannot imagine what it feels for people of colour to walk out their door every day, to get in their car, even to be going to work, to be taking their kids to school, to be picking their kids up, to just be running errands, and you get stopped and you don't know whether that's going to be your last day, whether you're going to actually see your kids or your family again when you've done nothing wrong. And that really hurts me. It really, really, really hurts me. Because the police are supposed to be there to help people, regardless of what colour they are, regardless of what religion they are, what culture they're from. And you see so many videos and situations where they do the complete opposite. And I just can't imagine, I cannot imagine what that feels like, to live in fear when you walk out your door every day. I could, I mean, I don't drive, but I could get in a car and go through a red light and I would get stopped, and I know I'm in Britain, it's a little bit different maybe than over in America, but I could get stopped by the police and I wouldn't for 1 second think that this could be the end of my life because of something that I've done wrong. For a black person, that could potentially be the end of their life. That could potentially cost you your life for doing the same thing as a white person. I might get a fine, I might get a few points on my license. For a black person, that could actually cost them their life. That is systemic racism. Hands down. There's no doubt about it. That's exactly what it is. Okay, let's carry on.
I love you, but I fucking hate you at the same time. I wish we could trade shoes so we could change lives so we can understand each other more, but that'll take time. I'm not racist. It's like we living in the same building but split into both sides. I'm not racist. But there's two sides to every story, and now you know mine.
That's interesting. Because the white guy, from his point of view, didn't he say something about it's like we live in the same building but split into 2 floors? And yet the black guy says, or from his point of view, he says it's like we're in the same building but we're split into 2 sides. Now, isn't that interesting? That's kind of, I'm assuming it was done like that intentionally, because everything that Joyner Lucas has said here from both points of view is so clever. It's genius to actually do this from both sides. But the fact that the white point of view is that you're in the same building, so you're living in the same world, but you're split into 2 floors, almost as if one floor is above the other. And let's be honest, a white person with the same kind of viewpoints as here in this video would say that they're higher than black people. They're the higher floor. They're the ones that are on top. They're above black people who live on the floor below. They're superior. Yet the black guy sees it as they live in the same building, live in the same world, we're all part of the same world, but we're split into 2 sides. So it's still kind of you versus me, but instead of being one being on a floor above or one being above the other, we should be level. We're on the same floor, we're just on different sides. We're on different, you know, I'm on this side and you're on that side, and we're kind of up against each other, but we should all be on the same level because we're all human. The difference is the colour of our skin. We may come from a different culture, a different background, different, you know, life scenarios, but we are still ultimately human beings. Whatever colour we are, whatever culture we are, whatever religion we are, we're still human. So I find that very interesting that he would word it like that, and I'm assuming that was done deliberately, but that is really clever. Wow, that's a great analogy, and I love the way that it went down the middle as well of them.
Can't erase the scars with a bandage.
It's like this separation.
Hoping maybe we can come to an understanding. Agree to disagree, we can have an understanding.
If
I'm not racist.
If only it could all be like that. We were all humans until race disconnected us, religion separated us, politics divided us, and wealth classified us. Wow, those are very wise words. We're all humans until race disconnected us. Well, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one race, and that's the human race. So, but this whole thing about there being several different races, And that's part of the disconnect, is that, you know, some people seem to think that we're all different races, almost like we're different species. We're not, we're all humans. Religion separated us. Yeah, I mean, religion is a huge divide. It causes wars, it causes arguments, it causes a lot of divide with people. My God's better than yours, my God's more important than yours. You know, it's like, wow, why? Politics divided us. Yeah, it's almost like, you know, I want to be on this side, I don't want to be on that side. That's sad. Because politics should all be, to me, it should be about working towards the same goals, to having the same goals. And wealth classified us. So the idea that people with a lot of money would be better than people with not as much money or no money. Wow. Is at the end, I believe. Yeah. Wow. But this was, for me, this was quite tough to watch. Certainly it started off that way. I mean, all the way through, that was tough. And I get that from this, I'm kind of getting that it's about stereotypes and how the idea of stereotypes feed into people's subconscious, and that's how people make their minds up about others. It's a lot of it is based on stereotypes, particularly when you have black and white, people of colour and white people. And let's face it, white people are people of colour, because we're all colours. Whether you're black, white, brown, yellow, we are all colours. There are so many different skin tones in this world, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all breathe the same oxygen. We all come from families. We all have friends. We do what we can to get by. Some things not necessarily good, i.e. committing crime and things like that, but you cannot blame, like a lot of white people do, you cannot blame just black people or people of colour for committing crime, because there are a lot of white people as well, let's be honest, that commit crime. You hear about, you know, these mass shootings, and I can't think of one off the top of my head that has been by a black person. They are all white people. They go into churches, they go into schools, they go into nightclubs, and they kill innocent people because of a grudge that they have, just because of because they have a bad day, because they're ill, because they're confused. But ultimately, because they're white, they seem to get treated a lot fairer, or they're treated completely differently compared to a black person committing the same crime or even less of a crime, and they end up with tougher prison sentences. They end up possibly even dead. We need to stop laying blame at people's doors and start thinking of each other as fellow human beings rather than different species, different, you know, people that are not really people. We need to have conversations like this. I mean, because how amazing would it be? Yes, people have their opinions, they have very strong views like this, but wouldn't it be better to actually sit down and have conversations like this, like was done in this video, and air your views out, air those opinions in an intellectual way, and voice those concerns, voice those opinions, and even come out with those stereotypes, but then give the other person a chance to put their side across. And if we all did that, I think you would find, a lot of people would, most people, if not all of us, would find that actually we probably have more in common than what you would ever think. We would start to understand each other more. But like I said, a lot of opinions are based on stereotypes, and misconceptions about people and these preconceived ideas that, you know, white is right and anything darker than white is dirty, it's evil, it's bad. Since when has white been superior? We're the mutations, we're the genetic mutations. Let's be honest, black people have been around longer than white people. And that's not to say that black people are better than white people, but we should be equal. We should be treating each other the same way, rather than, as I said, like we're kind of completely different species. It doesn't work that way. We're not. We're all human beings, and we should treat others like fellow human beings, and we have to all live in this world together. The very least we can do is try and have conversations with each other. And you're not going to agree on everything. Of course you're not. You know, whatever the subject is. You know, you're not going to get on with everybody that you meet, or even sit down and have a conversation with and try to understand and try to get your head round. You're not always going to agree. I think it's up to all of us to, particularly people like me and people that look like me, to educate ourselves and to be the ones who make the effort to go out and get to know other people and other cultures and other religions, and not jump to conclusions and assume that everybody is the same, because we're really not. It is not plausible to judge somebody or judge a whole group of people based on just a few people. And I wish more people would understand this. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to be a work in progress, myself included. I think it will be a work in progress. I don't think we ever stop learning, whoever you are. We never stop learning. There's something for us to learn all the time about people, about life, just everything. And that is the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to just try to be less judgmental, try to be a lot fairer, and just to be kind, just to try and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And I know for somebody like me, it is quite difficult to do that, because although I can try and understand and try to imagine how somebody else may feel in a certain situation, I cannot really comprehend what it is like for some people in this world to just simply exist, just to be able to go about their daily life without facing hate and racism and prejudice. It is part of that is down to the fact that I am the skin colour that I am, the fact that I have the white privilege that I do. And that is very, very important, I think, for people like me, white people like me, to understand that this whole white privilege thing is not about, as some people think it is, it's not about how much money you earn. It's not about, or don't earn, it's not about the size of the house that you live in. It's not about the nice neighbourhood you come from. It's not about all of your well-to-do friends and the circles that you run in. It's more than that. It's about being able to walk out of my door and walk down the street, or go jogging down the street, or go into a shop and not be looked at as somebody who's doing something wrong. It's about knowing that the system is not against me for the simple fact that I have black or brown skin, or any other coloured skin other than the skin that I do have. For a lot of white people, that is it's a hard concept to grasp. It's hard to get their head around, because when you mention white privilege to somebody, or you say to somebody that looks like me, you've got white privilege, straight away they say, what are you talking about? I don't have a lot of money. I don't live in a big house. You know, I don't have loads of fast cars and things like that. I only go on 1 or 2 holidays a year. You know, I don't have privilege. You know, I came from a really poor background. You know, my upbringing wasn't great. They're focusing on the wrong things. It's not about that. It's being able to, you know, be speeding a little bit and you get stopped by the police, and the worst you can expect is a slap on the wrist and a fine maybe and a few points on your license. That is the likelihood that is what I would get. That is all that I would get. For a person of colour, that police stop, it could potentially mean somebody's life. And I know some people say, well, that's a bit dramatic. That doesn't always happen. You know, it's only rare occasions. And then you get people that look like me that say things like, well, they should just comply, or they shouldn't be doing anything wrong in the first place. Yeah, but you would say that to a white person, but you wouldn't expect that white person to then say, oh, I got shot at, I was kept in a cell for 24 hours, wasn't able to get legal representation, wasn't able to make a phone call or anything like that. For a person of colour, a routine traffic stop could mean their life. It could mean being beaten. It could mean being abused in some shape or form. A lot of cops are good. They're brilliant people. They're brilliant at their job. They're amazing people. But having said that, if you're in a position of power and authority, you should not be any less than brilliant at your job and fair and treating people equally. Because if you're not, and you're the opposite of those things, and particularly when it comes to a person of colour, then you should not be a cop. It's simple. You should not be a cop. You should not be in that line of work. And that is the difference. For a lot of people of colour that get stopped by the police, they're not going to know who are the good cops and who are the bad cops. Empathy is everything, as far as I'm concerned. I think you can never quite know a person's life, know what they go through, but you can sure as hell try to empathise and try to put yourself in that person's shoes and say to yourself, well, if I was in that situation, how would I feel? And would I want to be treated that way? There's an amazing lady called Jane Elliott. Maybe some of you have heard of her. She's a white lady, American, and she has been doing this work as an activist and an educator for years, for decades now. She's done lots of seminars and talks, and she's done this brown eyes, blue eyes experiment in schools and colleges and universities and even workplaces everywhere, not just over in America. She's done it over here as well. She's done it in Australia. She's done it in lots of different places. In one of the clips that I've seen of her, she says to an audience, everybody stand up if you would like to be treated the way black people and people of colour are treated every day in society. And nobody stands up. And she says, you didn't understand the instructions. If you feel comfortable, or if you're happy with being treated the way people of colour are treated in society every day, in the system, the system as a general, please stand up. And nobody stands up. And she says to them, that means that you know how people are being treated and you don't want it for yourself. Why would you want it for somebody else? Since then, that was sort of a couple of years ago now, and since then, not that I was, dare I say it, not that I was an out-and-out racist person, but since that clip, that very first clip, and watching other stuff of hers and reading things that she's had to say and watching and listening to other like-minded people, it just hit home for me, because I thought to myself, hearing that, I thought, wow, nobody in that audience stood up. So as she said, they all know how people of colour are being treated. They don't want it for themselves. Why are we so willing to allow it to happen to other people? She's absolutely right. Why do we tolerate it? And this whole thing with silence is being complicit. It is true. If we don't speak up, even if you're not a racist person yourself, and you have members of your family that are of colour, whether you have friends who are of colour, and you don't use racist language or stereotypes or anything, and you don't consider yourself to be a racist person, we could all learn something from people like that, because as I've said, we never stop learning. I don't believe we ever stop learning. Some people unfortunately just don't want to carry on learning. They don't want to hear certain things, and that is ignorance at its finest. That is really, really sad. But we should all continue to learn and be willing to learn constantly, every single day, from our surroundings, from our life experiences, from other people, from people of different walks of life, people of different skin tones. It is our responsibility as human beings to learn from each other and to treat each other accordingly. Obviously you're going to come across some not so nice people, you're going to come across some downright bad, evil people, but you're also going to come across so many people that, due to stereotypes or first impressions, that you may have a judgment about. But it's important that you try to get to know that person, get to know more about them and their background before you make a really harsh, solid judgment and say, there you go, see, and judge a whole group of people based on just one or two people that you may meet in your life that are not necessarily good. So I think it's very, very important, particularly as a white person, to educate ourselves, to empathise, and try to imagine what it would be like if you were put in somebody else's shoes and you had to go through this every day of your life, to the point that you're even afraid to step outside your front door or get in your car and drive, because it could potentially be your last day, or you could end up in prison for something minor that a white person would have just got a tap on the wrist and just sent on their way for. But anyway, I could rant about this all day, but I can't make this video. I can't make this video any longer than it has been, because there's just so much more that I could have unpacked from this video, and just my thoughts and feelings. And just the most important thing I think that I want to take from this is stereotypes. Stereotypes in comedy can be funny, they can be good, they can, it's humour, but when stereotypes are weaponized against people or a group of people, it is very, very dangerous. I think it's very, very important that we try to change our mindsets about that and just be open to educating ourselves and never stop learning. So as far as I'm concerned, it's about educating yourself about your fellow human being that comes from a different walk of life than you do. But ultimately we are all human beings, and that is the important thing to remember. Stereotypes exist, but we don't have to buy into them to the point that we weaponize them against somebody. I loved this, I enjoyed this, I thought this was brilliant. This was an education, and necessary. I think it's one of those necessary things that a lot more people should see and hear and bear in mind and take note of, and just check how you talk about other people, check how you think and how you view somebody else before you make a snap judgment. Try and reason with yourself and say, am I feeling this way because of stereotypes, or am I feeling this way because this person is how they are coming across? So I loved this, and I hope you enjoyed it too. It was, yeah, like I say, it was quite a tough watch for me in some places, but I got through it, and yeah, I'm glad I finally reacted to it. So if you enjoyed this too, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with more reaction videos. And hopefully I won't do many as long as this one, because yeah, if you're still here, well done. This was quite a long one. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack, and I could have carried on probably for a lot longer, but I don't want to make this video too long. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.